So, you want to learn more about warding, eh? Good on ya, mate, because this is one of the most undervalued topics at low elo rating. The most common attitude is, I don't need my wards, you're the support, that's your job. Wrong. While it is true that the biggest chunk of the warding job falls to the support, every champion needs to help out with the ward placement. Because warding isn't something we do just because it's the meta, or because Warba told us to do so. That's me, by the way. No. Wards are placed to help you win the game. In this video, I will go through all the commonly used warding spots and explain what they are good for, depending on whether you play on the blue or purple team. Let's start off with the wards around the bot lane. In the bot lane, you want to place a ward in one of these brushes. These wards are meant to protect your AD carry. He cannot farm safely if the enemy champion can run out of the brush and initiate on him from too close. In order to find out which of the two brushes you want to ward, you have to wait a bit and figure out in what direction the lane is getting pushed. You want to place a ward in the one brush that is next to the fighting creeps. The next one is the most frequently placed ward, and yet it is still often placed very inefficiently. You want to ward the bottom river, so you can spot the enemy jungler coming in for a gank. Sounds easy in theory, but a lot of people still cock it up regardless. Some people place the ward in the bottom brush like this. Not only does this not warn you fast enough, but you also waste spotting potential for dragon attempts. Instead, place the ward further up like this. That way, you can see the enemy jungler coming through the river, as well as when the enemy team is moving in on dragon. This ward is required at about 5 minutes into the game, so you can place your first river ward a bit further south if you are on purple to cover the enemy's jungle exit. When you start to place your river ward next to the dragon as purple, you also want to cover the enemy's stripe rush like this. This way you can avoid getting ganked from the enemy's jungler if he comes directly from the jungle. If you play on blue team, you also want to ward this brush to avoid the enemy jungler should he come from that direction after counter jungling. This is not needed though if your jungler or mid placed a ward in the jungle entrance north of the dragon, because there is no other way to sneak into the bottom jungle. Now the next ward I want to talk about in the bot lane is this one here. This location is once again important for both teams. If you are purple, you want to place a ward here when you are attacking the second tower. This way you can spot the enemy team that is coming in from the jungle and lets you slip away from a potential overwhelming force. On the other hand, if you ward here as the blue team, you can spot enemies coming through the jungle attempting to destroy your bottom tower, allowing you to mobilize a defense of said tower in time. The last bottom ward is the exact same as the one from before, but this time it revolves around the purple team's tower. As logic dictates, this allows the blue team to be aggressive, and the purple team can spot an enemy attack with it. Now, let's have a look at the wards around the mid lane. This first ward has a different effect depending on which team places it. If you place this ward as a member of the blue team, you can be more aggressive in the mid lane, as this ward shows you when the enemy jungler tries to gank from top. If you are purple, this protects you from gank attempts from the enemy's top laner. Besides that, you can also see enemy counter jungling attempts. If followed up correctly, either your mid, your top, or both can catch the enemy jungler off guard and grab an easy kill, all while protecting the red at the same time. This ward down here is used by the blue team to spot any gank attempts from the jungler towards the middle. Also, this ward allows you to see when the enemy's jungler tries to enter your jungle to steal some creeps or sneak towards the bottom for a gank attempt. This ward is basically the same as the last one, only for the purple team. You spot the enemy jungler entering your jungle early and you prevent ganks from top. The next ward I want to talk about is placed here. This one becomes relevant when the blue team's outer mid turret is down. If you're at this stage of the game and you place a ward here as blue, it helps your bot lane seeing enemy ganks coming in from mid. Since the river is still warded by bot, they have vision of both the river and all the jungle entrances purple has access to. On the other hand, this ward protects you when you are on the purple team when you try to push the second tower down, as it allows you to spot enemy reinforcements from bottom. This ward revolves around the purple team's second mid tower. You want to ward here as blue if you're working on destroying said tower, and place one here as purple in order to protect it more easily. Like the one before, this helps you either attack or defend the second tower. With this one, you can spot enemy flanks coming from the top lane instead of from the bottom. Since Summoner's Rift is mirrored, you will find the last two warding positions around the blue team's second tower as well. Just that the roles are reversed. Here, this one protects you from attacks coming from up top, while this one down here in the small brush defends from aggression coming from the bottom rather than from the top lane. Now all that's left is to talk about the wards around the top lane. Let's start with the Tri-Brush ward. You want to place one here as blue if you feel especially sassy and want to go balls to the wall when trying to kill the enemy champion, as it helps you spot the enemy jungler approaching and gives you the necessary information to back off when need be. If you are purple on the other hand, you want to place one here if there are no other wards further south, spotting for the enemy jungler counter-jungling, as you cannot afford suddenly being both outnumbered 2-1 and pincered at the same time. This next ward, just a little bit to the left, is a blue team only ward. This one covers both the enemy jungle exit as well as the river to spot two different angles from which the enemy jungler can approach from. This ward here is the purple team's equivalent. It covers the enemy jungle exit as well as the river. You can spot incoming ganks from miles away with this one. Just like in the bot and mid lane, we have specific warding locations to protect us while we push the second tower. If you're on purple and you approach the blue team's second tower, place a ward here in the blue golem brush to allow for timely escapes from any threat coming from mid. As blue, having a ward here protects your tower from any unexpected 3, 4 or 5 man sneak attacks. Which leads us nicely to our last ward, which is placed in the brush south of the purple team's second tower. The same logic applies as before, just for reversed teams. This time, blue wards here to stay safe while damaging the purple tower, and purple places a ward to spot any champions coming through the jungle to destroy said tower. Lastly, I want to talk about objective wards. The dragon gets warded by the bot lane in the early game, but once the laning phase starts to decline and roaming and teamfighting becomes the norm, this ward should still be kept up. Given that the dragon is alive, warding an empty dragon pit is just silly. Once people get to level 13 to 14, you want to think about warding that Baron. Baron can be a real game changer, so you don't want to leave him unprotected. When you spot the enemy team going for Baron, you can use the opportunity to jump on them and get a few kills. Before I end this video, I just want to address some important aspects of warding that apply all the time. As you can now see, there are a lot of places to put wards, but your team cannot afford to ward everything 24/7, because you also have to think about buying equipment. So how many wards do you place and when? Well, hard to say theoretically, since it always depends on the situation, but I can tell you this. If you follow a certain agenda you want to be seen through, and the ward can help you achieve it, you should probably invest in that ward. Also, before the game begins, check out the enemy's jungler. Is he a mana-based champion? If yes, he will start with the blue buff, otherwise he will go for red first. This influences your ward timing. Let's suppose for a moment you are playing on the purple team and you are support. The enemy team has a mana-based jungler. Given the positioning of the enemy's blue buff and the damage output of most champions early on, the earliest you can expect him to make it to the bot lane is at around 3 minutes, and only if he skips wraiths and red buff. So you can add another 30 seconds to that and still be fine most of the time. I wouldn't take the risk though, because you never know if the enemy doesn't want to pull unconventional bullshit. But remember, this only applies to you on purple. What is when you play as blue and you are on bot? Then the enemy jungler is down there way faster, right after he is done with blue. So you want to have a ward in the river at around 2 minutes and 10 seconds. The same logic can be applied if the enemy jungler goes for red. If you're on the purple team, the chances of you getting ganked at around 210, 220 are very likely, while you don't have to worry about it for another 50 to 60 seconds if you are playing on blue. Now, why am I going about this so damn long? Simple. Because wards are expensive as hell, and you want to get as much mileage out of them as you possibly can. Don't place them when there is no conceivable threat, but do place them when you need them. Don't be a Scrooge McDuck and hoard the bloody things. Use them when appropriate. Don't worry, you'll get the hang of it. I believe in you. If no one else, I do believe in you. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to learn more, please click on the top right hand corner annotation to get back to the menu. And remember, stay calm and place wards.